So which lens is sharper, the Sony 200-600 or the old 100-400 G Master? For you pixel peepers out there, we're diving in and checking out which one of these lenses is actually sharper once and for all. Let's check it out. Okay, so here we are in Lightroom and we've got our test photos ready. On the left we have our 100-400 G Master, and on the right is our 200-600 as you can see. Now it's worth noting that the maximum aperture of the 100-400 is a little bit faster. Here at 100mm, our maximum aperture is f4.5 compared to the 200-600's f5.6. So here we are at our widest focal length, of course, 100mm compared to the 200 on the 200-600. So let's jump in and have a look at the center of the image to see if we can really notice any differences. And yeah, off the bat we can notice that the 100-400 definitely does have the advantage when it comes to sharpness. It's pretty close, but you can definitely notice here. And this is the center of the image where, of course, most lenses are the strongest. Again, of course, we're splitting hairs here. They're both great performers, but the 100-400 does have a clear advantage. Let's have a look at the corners next to see what we're dealing with. Both lenses have great contrast, but again, I would give the edge here in this case to the 100-400 as well. Let's check out those corners. So here we are in the corners, and as you can see, this is really where the G Master runs away in terms of performance. The corner sharpness is just incredible. So this lens is just a masterpiece, and it is a G Master at Sony's most expensive lens range, and it shows. You're gonna pay for it. But over here, the 200-600 holds its own for what it is. It performs incredibly well. You're probably not going to be too concerned with the very corners here for the most part, but yeah, absolutely the 100-400 G Master is the clear winner in this case. Okay, so next we're going to dive into the long side of things where it really matters with these telephoto lenses. 400mm on the 100-400, of course, and all the way up to 600 on the 200-600. Our maximum apertures are now f5.6 and f6.3 for the big guy. So once again, we're both wide open here on both lenses, and it's important that they perform well at these apertures because, well, we need as much light as we can. And of course, when we're out in nature photographing whatever, well, we need to have that perform really well at our fastest aperture. So here in the center, let's look at it. Again, a great performance from both lenses, but a slight edge definitely going to the 100-400 with a little bit better contrast as well. Let's check out the corners. Over here in the corners, it's pretty much the same story. A great performance out of the 200-600, but the 100-400 is just that much better. Absolutely incredible performance out of this G Master lens, and probably why it's one of my favorite lenses of all time. But once again, are we really going to stress about the very top of these images in a huge telephoto lens? Well, maybe. I don't know. I'm not you. You'll have to decide, but as you can see, they're both great performers. So let's have a look at the distortion and vignetting here. Here is the 100-400 at 100mm, and as you can see using the profile correction, we see just a tiniest little bit of vignetting and a little bit of distortion corrected. I'll turn it off again here so you can see the difference before we move on to the telephoto side of things. Now here we are at 400mm. Let's have a look at that profile correction and see the difference. Once again, you can notice some distortion a little bit. I'll turn it off here, and once again, turning it on, there is a little bit of distortion, but very well controlled, and just the tiniest little bit of vignetting. And of course, as you stop down naturally with both of these lenses, you'll see a little bit of vignetting get a little bit better as you stop down. So let's have a look at the 200-600 now in comparison. Okay, so here is our 200-600 now, here at 200mm with the profile corrections turned off, and here they are on. A little bit more noticeable distortion for sure, and the vignetting is almost non-existent, so very well controlled in that aspect, but just a little bit of distortion. But let's have a look all the way zoomed into 600 and see how we do. And here we are all the way zoomed into 600mm. Let's have a look at the profile correction turned off here, and now on. You can see a little bit of noticeable pincushion distortion with the profile correction turned off. Not much vignetting to speak of. And once again, here it is on to see that distortion cleaned up right away. Overall, absolutely nothing to write home about. Both lenses have distortion and vignetting controlled very well. So is it really surprising that the G Master is the sharper lens? For me, not so much, and I think the 200-600 does a great job and keeps up pretty well. Again, if you wanted it sharper and it was a G Master instead of a G series lens, it'd probably be a lot more expensive. So they are what they are, and for me, they're both absolutely fantastic performers. So there you have it, guys. Now you know which lens is sharper. If you did want to dive into a full in-depth comparison of these two, check out my video up there in the corner somewhere. And I hope this video helped you out and you liked it. If you did, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. Drop all your questions and your comments down below. And if you want to pick up either of these lenses, I will drop affiliate links down there for you somewhere. Like always, make mistakes, be yourself, and get out there and take some more pictures. See you next time.